Bengals training camp is right around the corner, which means it's time to break down potential breakout players. Let's start on offense because offense wins championships. Let's break it down right now on Cincinnati Bengals Talk. Hi again, everyone, and welcome into CBT. I'm James Rapien of BengalsTalk.com. Hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, join the 55,000 plus Bengals fans that have hit that subscribe button. Check us out wherever you get your podcasts. In today's video and podcast brought to you by American Home Tech. Check them out at AmericanHomeTech.com for all of your local roofing and home improvement needs. AmericanHomeTech.com. Let's dive into breakout players for offense and on this Bengals offense. Obviously, everyone, when you bring up the Bengals offense is like, well, what about the defense? Or what about the offensive line? And it makes sense. Those are the two weak areas. Those are the two areas that needed to be addressed. And I think when you look at breakout candidates on defense, it's a little more, there are more options. There are a lot of guys, not as many on offense. And we're going to get to defense next week. But when it comes to this offense, the first breakout player that comes to mind is arguably the most talented player that hasn't officially broke out yet. And I would say that Amarius Mims is that number one candidate. He's 17th or 18th overall pick, from last year's draft. Played a bunch of games last year, got a bunch of snaps, got a bunch of experience. And yet when you think of this Bengals offensive front, you don't think of them having a dominant all-pro, all-world tackle. Well, if Orlando Brown Jr. stays healthy, he was well on his way to being a Pro Bowler last year and maybe an all-pro. And so let's say that happens this year and Amarius takes a huge step forward. That would bode well for the Bengals' chances of protecting Joe Burrow. So Amarius Mims is the first one that comes to mind for me because of the talent, former first-round pick, skill set, size, athleticism, all of the traits you look for. Everyone praises how hard he's working. And obviously you have a new offensive line coach in Scott Peters, what he brings to the table as well. Amarius could certainly break out this year. Chase Brown is someone that I think broke out last year. I think doesn't necessarily fit the bill of breaking out this year, but he could certainly be someone that establishes himself as one of the NFL's best running backs. And you look at it, the numbers he put up last year, how reliable he was as a pass catcher out of the backfield down the stretch, how explosive he was as a runner, and just the comfort factor of having him on the field down in and down out versus Khalil Herbert or anyone else that they had to bring in. You saw it. You saw a serious drop-off. And while I think the Bengals did shore up that backup running back spot this offseason, I think Chase Brown is certainly someone that might not break out. I think that probably technically already happened, but is someone that could certainly establish himself as one of the NFL's best running backs. There are some other guys too, though, that could break out. Maybe more under the radar candidates that you're not thinking about or you have dismissed or you just are more focused on the defense and the offensive line. Amarius Mims and Chase Brown, two big candidates that, let's be honest here, would you be surprised if either one of those guys made the Pro Bowl? Both made the Pro Bowl. I could totally see that. And so that's what I think could happen there. There are a few other guys on offense, though, that I really, really want to highlight. We will do that coming up next. Today's video is brought to you by American Home Tech. With over 8,000 happy homeowners, American Home Tech is your trusted local roofing and home improvement experts. They handle everything from roofing, siding, and gutters to windows, doors, decks, and so much more. Visit AmericanHomeTech.com to schedule your free consultation. Again, that's AmericanHomeTech.com. There are plenty of other breakout candidates that could certainly jump to the surface this year for the Cincinnati Bengals on offense. And in an ideal world, you would have multiple. You would have Chase Brown establishing himself as a top 10 back, Amarius Mims pushing for a Pro Bowl spot. I think that there are guys, you could say Dylan Fairchild, you could go the rookie route. I don't really use rookies in the breakout category, but certainly it would be great if Dylan Fairchild did that. But I look at this and I think that Andrei Iosivas is someone that just seems poised to continue to grow, to continue to contribute, to continue to be everything he's been in past years and then some. I think he's going to matter for this Bengals team in key situations. And he's someone that has 10 touchdowns in 2 seasons, has the comfort with Joe, has the trust with Joe, and at the same time has ability that I think has been untapped to this point. So Andrei Iosivas, certainly someone that I sort of expect to break out and could certainly break out and be one of those guys. And then after that, I think it goes, you're going like a level or two lower and more under the radar guys. Some of them that I'll mention, I think Germaine Burton could certainly break out. Now, what does that mean? I don't think he's going to surpass Andrei Iosivas or Mike Gesicki as the third option. And those two guys are going to, I would say, alternate at times as the third receiving option behind Jamar and T, unless you're including Chase Brown, of course. But like as a receiver, I think that Yoshi and Gesicki, their roles are pretty defined. That doesn't mean that Burton can't break out, though. And if he could come in and give you 4 or 5 touchdowns and be a deep threat and have a bunch of big catches, let's say he has 32 receptions this year and 4 touchdowns. That feels pretty darn good. Doesn't, like if he's averaging 15 to 20 yards per catch, 30-ish catches and 4 touchdowns like that, you're like, oh, well, Germaine Burton mattered. Certainly someone to keep an eye on. And then after that, under the radar candidates, I think Charlie Jones, it's a big year for him. Who knows? Maybe he breaks out. I think on offense, it's going to take some things to have to happen, some injuries, things like that. You never know. But Charlie Jones is someone, it's almost make or break for him from a contributing to this offense standpoint. And then after that, I'm looking here, and I don't think that there are a ton of candidates, but let's go down the rabbit hole a little bit. What if Matt Lee gets a shot at guard? What if Matt Lee gets a shot at guard and wins the job? Could be someone that plays a role. I think that Tanner Mlaughlin is more so battling for a roster spot than he is potentially battling for a breakout season, but you never know. So I think that one is kind of interesting, but there aren't many after that. Like Cody Ford is established. Cordell Volson is established. Like, you know what those guys are. And so there aren't many guys outside of the ones I named. And this one's unrealistic, but he is a popular name among Bengals fans. Seth McLaughlin, or McLaughlin, excuse me. Tanner McLaughlin and Seth McLaughlin always get me. But the center out of Ohio State, undrafted, coming off of a serious injury, expected to be cleared for camp. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe he is able to not break out, but be someone that breaks out enough during training camp to make the roster. And so there are levels to break out, right? We started with Amarius Mims. If he breaks out, you could certainly see him being a Pro Bowler. I get down to guys like backup center, and it's like, oh, well, could breakout mean making the roster? Matt Lee could breakout mean competing for a starting job. There are levels to it, but I do think it's interesting that this offense is in a place where it's like, okay, hopefully your rookies perform well, you know, the Dylan Fairchilds of the world. But if not, the breakout candidates, there's just a few. And you'll be able to see next week when we do the defense how different it is, how different it feels when we talk about these guys and what they are and who they are and what they could potentially become and what they have to do to break out. This offense, pretty darn solid. Not a ton of breakout candidates, but enough to be interesting. Today's video brought to you by American Home Tech. Make sure you check them out at AmericanHomeTech.com. We are obviously going to be with you anytime there's news, but if we don't have another video before the 4th of July, have a happy Independence Day. Enjoy time, hopefully with your family, and we will certainly chat with you in the near future. We're going to have a ton of videos next week, and we're really starting to hit the ground running now. Also, stay tuned because we have a special announcement coming in the near future about a season preview party. It's before training camp. I'll get details to you on that very, very soon. For Andrew Fox Miller, I'm James Rapien. Thank you so much for watching and listening to Cincinnati Bengals Talk.